Hi, I'm Chap Bettis, author of The Disciple Making Parent, and this is my audio blog, where I read some of my blog posts in audio format for your convenience. In today's episode, we're going to be thinking about what is the North Star that we should be aiming our parenting at. In fact, I want to encourage you to follow this North Star. You know, I can still remember May 24th, 1991, as if it were yesterday. For months, I'd known we were going to have a baby. But the first time my daughter was placed in my arms, I felt something like a kick to my stomach. And that blow was me realizing God had entrusted us with a beautiful baby who entirely depended on us. Of even greater weightiness, God had put into our hands a human soul that would live forever. A few years later, we began to experience typical parenting pressures. Will she take dance? Will she play soccer? Where will she attend kindergarten? Public school? Private school? Homeschool? And those pressures were just the beginning. You know, we face a myriad of decisions as parents. We want to give our children the best, but what exactly is the best? Looking around us, we see parents rushing frantically from activity to activity. Most would probably say they're trying to raise well-educated and well-adjusted children to be happy and successful. But should these be the primary goals of a Christian parent? Are we supposed to raise good kids who pursue the American dream with some Christianity sprinkled in? What's the best guide for the Christian parent's journey? Well, in the night sky of the northern hemisphere, there's one star that constantly points the way north. By it, slaves traveling the Underground Railway found freedom, and sailors discovered new lands. The North Star provided a reference point for those in uncharted waters. For Christian parents, the Great Commission is the North Star. Before he ascended, Jesus commanded his followers to go and make disciples of all nations. And Christians have rightly understood this command as a call to reach out in our world, in our towns, in our neighborhoods. But it's also a call to make disciples in our own families. Christian parenting is disciple making, and obeying Christ's commission should orient all we do as parents. We educate our children not ultimately to ensure that they find a high-paying job, but to form them as followers of Jesus. We discipline them not so they'll make us happy, but so they'll serve Christ as adults. We prepare them for the judgment day as well as the graduation day. Your family is meant to be a Trinity displaying, God glorifying, disciple making unit. If God's given you kids, He intends for you to shape them to love Him and to love others. It's messy, rewarding, frustrating, and glorious work all at the same time. Realizing God has entrusted you with little image bearers to evangelize and disciple will revolutionize your parenting. With the Great Commission as your North Star, you'll be better equipped to navigate the rough waters. It'll help you discern between the important and merely urgent. While we certainly need divine wisdom to make countless educational and extracurricular decisions, knowing where we're aiming gives us confidence for the journey. You know, few people stay on course throughout an entire journey. Satan and sin and circumstances and lack of wisdom, those all buffet our parenting voyage. But God in His grace will hear your cry and guide you back on course. The King's marching orders, which are found in verse 19, to make disciples, are enveloped by His promised authority in verse 18 and His promised presence in verse 20. Though we're not able to give spiritual life to our children, and we're not finally responsible for their choices, discipling them is one of our greatest privileges. As J.C. Ryle wrote, "Precious no doubt are these little ones in your eyes, but if you love them, think often of their souls. In every step you take, in every plan and scheme and arrangement that concerns them, do not leave out the mighty question, how will this affect their souls?" Well, how can we begin? Let me just give you 5 different suggestions. Your implementation of this principle will vary. It depends on a lot of factors, such as the age of your kids and your situation. But here are 5 principles. Number 1, check your own calibration. As you examine your decisions, ask whether your own heart is calibrated to follow the North Star. Can you honestly say nothing would bring you greater joy than to hear that your children are walking in the truth? Second, tell your children. Clearly communicate to them your hope and your prayer. Say something like, quote, "My greatest joy is knowing that you are following Jesus Christ." Number 3, find like-minded parents. If you parent with eternity in mind, you'll be out of step with the secular culture, and perhaps even with some other Christians. So to persevere in this long and countercultural journey, you need encouragement from others with a similar outlook. Number 4, pray for wisdom. Good is the enemy of the best. As you choose activities for your children, prayerfully ask God for wisdom to discern what is best. Number 5, relax. If you're a fretful, hovering, anxious mom or dad, take a deep breath. The journey is long. God is sovereign. The Lord who deploys you also promises to watch over you and walk with you. He loves your children more than you do. Well, the day the doctor placed my daughter in my arms, I was right to be weak-kneed. God was entrusting us with a person to care for, to shepherd, to evangelize, and to disciple for His glory. And though we're not sufficient for the task, we can trust the one who is sufficient to give the wisdom and grace we need for this parenting adventure. Well, today's post is really coming from chapter 1 of The Disciple-Making Parent. And if you'd like to learn more, visit our bookstore at thedisciplemakingparent.com. And please don't forget to leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast player. I'm Chap Bettis. Thanks for listening.